Patrick Cook here. Welcome to session 48 of our Mastering Mandelbulb3D Formula tutorial series. Now, I've been working with the Mandelbulb3D application, maybe 5 years, I guess. I did a project in 2017 that I was pretty happy with. And you know, I've been working with it ever since. There's a couple areas of the Mandelbulb3D that I don't like. One is I don't much appreciate the lack of documentation. The tutorials that are out there tend to be introductory, don't really take you into the depth that you would like. You have to kind of figure it out for yourself. The learning curve is steep. I'll grant you that, especially when you move into things like DEcombinate, which a lot of people will simply just not venture into because it can get a little challenging. But I hope that this tutorial series has made it possible for you to be able to move beyond all of that intimidation. The other thing I really don't like is that I have never really seen a resource that I can very quickly get an understanding of the 468 formulas. Now, some of those, of course, are transform formulas that they themselves don't produce a Mandelbulb object. But what I wanted to do is create a resource, in part for myself, but also something that I could put out to the public, and it would be useful for all time, for as long as the Mandelbulb3D application continues to be available. And I think it'll be available for a while. I wanted to put together a resource where somebody could very quickly look up what a Mandelbulb formula object looks like, and get and see the default parameters and see the information or the description of the formula. Now, what we have on the screen here is what I refer to as the Mandelbulb Formula Example Reference. It's a video-based resource that would allow a person to very quickly navigate to or scrub to a particular Mandelbulb object that has been rendered to the screen with its default parameters, default properties. Okay, and there's a number of things that are kind of built into this resource, which I think are going to be useful to a lot of people over time. All right, now if we just take a look at this here, I can give you a little tour of this thing. Now, what I've done is I have literally stepped through every single formula of every single formula category. So the 3D, the two 3D categories are stepped through, the 3DA, the 4D, the 4DA, the ADS, and the dIFS, the shape formulas. I've stepped through each one of them. All right. And I've released those as a video based. Now you'll notice a couple things here. There's a this scrub bar here. Let me down below here. There are some numbers there. That is actually the time position in that particular video, in that reference video, to help you be able to relocate that formula visual again. All right, so that's a time code that's there. And I'm also showing the render time of each of these. I felt that it was important to understand or get an appreciation for the amount of time it takes to render a Mandelbulb formula object with its default parameter property values. All right. So I show the drop down and I show the complete render time. I'll speed it up if it's a really long render. All right. And then I hold that Mandelbulb graphic on the screen for about 10 seconds, and then I switch over and I show the description or where the eye is, and that's typically about 10 seconds. So and then I'll step on to the next formula within that category. All right. At the top here, we can see that the hybrid mode is shown. All of these formula examples are shown in the alternate, because as we learned from the Mastering Mandelbulb 3D Formula tutorial series, the alternate hybrid mode is a layering. So we're able to get a visual of just the Mandelbulb object that formula creates without all the math that would mix other formulas, such as you'll find with the Interpolate and the DEcombinate. So the alternate hybrid mode is always used. And another indicator of which formula is being used, and I even wanted to go so far as to show what the impact of a transform formula is. So I will put a regular formula in Formula 2 while I'm stepping through the transform formulas in formula slot number 1. And then there are separate videos for 3D set 1, a separate video for 3D set 2, a separate video for 3D A, separate video for 4D. You get the point. All right. The video does not have a soundtrack. I'm not trying to entertain anybody. What I'm trying to do is to make this to be a useful, quick lookup reference showing each of the Mandelbulb formulas that come installed with the application. All right. I'm going to release this whole formula reference kit. I'm going to release it when I release this Mandelbulb, Mastering Mandelbulb 3D Formula series. So when I release session 1 of this series, I'll release all of these as well. Okay? So I'm hoping that everybody gets some good use from this this particular reference material, and that it helps you get an appreciation for the hundreds of fractal formulas that we have available to us. So in conjunction with this tutorial series, Mastering Mandelbulb 3D Formulas, and this reference material, I think you're going to be in pretty good shape to be able to really be able to master, or I should say eventually master, your Mandelbulb formulas. And the beautiful thing about the Mandelbulb is not only do we have a whole bunch of formulas, but we can pull other people's formulas in, all right? It doesn't have to be just what's installed. It can be other people's formulas. We're going to go over that. You got 468 formulas that are installed with the application. You can get other people's formulas pulled in. You've got all different kinds of variations that you can apply to combine these multiple formulas. You got 3 hybrid modes. You've got up to 6 formula slots. You've got escape time. formulas, you've got transform formulas, you've got shape formulas, the dIFS, and you've got dIFS transform formulas as well. You can get in there, you can change the iteration count, the max iterations, the R bailout, and you can get in there and modify the individual properties. And you can combine these formulas visually, that is, like the alternate mode, layering visually, or you can combine them mathematically, interpolate, averaging, or the DEcombinate, which now it's a very complex method of merging multiple formulas. The point is you can do a lot. The learning curve is steep. You have to just kind of dive into it, try different things, see what happens, and try to use other people's work with their parameter sets that you can copy from online. Try to use other people's work to understand how they did it and how you might be able to do it. And lastly, I'm hoping that this Mandelbulb3D Formula Example Reference can also be of some help to you. Okay? All right, so that's enough for this session. We'll pick it up in a few minutes in the next session, and I'll see you there.